All right, so now we've just finished adding the enemy ships. We know that they are there. Um, Another way I could make them peak, if I wanted to, just to make them peak, just for a little fun, I could do X position minus, say, 25. That'll make half the ship, half the first ship will show now. See, look at he's peaking right there. I made him peak. So we know they're there. The enemy ships are being spawned and they're off screen, waiting to be moved on screen. So let's get them moving. So right off the bat, we're going to be using a for loop again because we have three ships and we need to move all three of the ships. And also every frame we need to check to see if the ship has moved off the screen. And if they have, we need to wrap the ships and generating random Y values in the process and making sure that we set the position at the very end. So this one is also very straightforward. I'm going to be very quick on this video, I believe. So this for loop is going to be going from I equals 0 to I less than the num of enemy ships. So we're going to go I equals 0, I equals 1, and I equals 2. Because num enemy ships is 3. And I's got to be less than num enemy ships. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the ith enemy ship. We're going to call this variable enemy ship, just like in the previous function. But remember, these are local variables. This enemy ship we have right here is not the same as this enemy ship because they are local variables. They only exist inside the function that creates them. This one exists and is used in move enemy ships. That one up there was used to create the enemy ships and store them in the array by a completely different function, the add enemy ships function. So back down here, this is going to be the enemy ship array in the ith location. Okay, we're using this counting variable I here in move enemy ships. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our enemy ship move. There it is, enemy ship. Dot move, and we're going to move by our negative speed, and that's our movement in X. We're going to move 0 in Y, and just like that, something's going to happen. When I press the G key, here come the enemies. And here they come, and here they come, and there they go. But they're gone because we never wrap them. So, but they do come. They come flying across the screen. And another thing to notice too, I can fly right through them. They don't take me out. So we're going to fix that too. I was very pleased in first block, one student figured it out. In fifth block, 4 students figured it out without having me to tell them. They figured it out independently. Good job. I've nudged them. So we do need to see when the ships go off screen. So again, we're going to be looking at our enemy ship, and we're looking at its get X. We want to look at its X position, and we're looking for when that X position is less than the enemy ship width, the negative of the enemy ship width. If the X position of the enemy ship is less than the negative of the width of that ship, then it has gone completely off screen. So now, if that's true, then I want to wrap it. But I would like to, depending on the variable I. So if I mod 2 equals 0, in other words, if I is an even number, I want to spawn the ship in the top half of the screen. But if I is not an even number, if I is an odd number, that's what the else handles. If I is not even, it's got to be odd. So the else will handle odd. I want the ship to spawn in the bottom half of the screen when I is an odd number. So this is where I get to recycle code. I already generate a random Y position. It's right here. So I'm going to go copy that line of code. Slide that over there. The line is too big to fit on my screen all at once. But we want that whole line of code. Go grab it. Control C. Then we're going to use it. we're going to have to change it both times. We're going to use it twice, and we're going to have to change it both times. The first time we're going to change it is down here with the screen height stuff. Take all that out and just divide the screen height by 2, and that's good. That'll guarantee that I spawn somewhere between my starting point, which is 50 pixels, and the middle of the screen, which is 240. So between 50 and 240, somewhere in there, I'll get a random Y spawn for my position. Plus, that made that fit on one line. We're not going to get that lucky on the next one. But let's go ahead and paste anyway, because it's still on my clipboard. There's the ginormous line. In this case, we need this back half. This back half gets the bottom. It gets the largest value. What needs to change here, though, is instead of having max height, we'll just go grab the screen height divided by 2. Paste that right there. So now we have screen height divided by 2 right there. That's going to start our randomizer from the middle of the screen going to that value that's like 75 pixels above the height of the screen. So that'll get that set. And then the last thing we have to do here is wrap the enemy. So there's the enemy ship right there. Dot set position. And the position I'm going to set it in will be the screen width. And that random Y that I just generated. Close that parenthesis and put the terminator on it. And that should be good. It should be, our enemies should be wrapping. Press the G key, and here they come. Here they come. And one's left, and it's come back. The other's left, and it's come back. And the last is left, and now they're cycling again. Now, something to do. Make sure that all 3 of your enemies wrap. Make sure all 3 go. I've seen, some people will have 1 or 2 that'll work, and then there'll be an issue. So, and we need to fix the collisions. BTW. That's the last thing we're going to do. I can still collide with the terrain, but I cannot collide with the enemies, and it's an easy fix. Remember, in check collisions, this is where we get positions around the vehicle. We get positions around the player vehicle. Then we get elements located around the player vehicle. We get elements located around the player vehicle at using these various X1 and Y1s, X2, Y2, X3, and Y3 that we generated. There's a big diagram on the back of the whiteboard that shows the math we did on this. We get those elements, and then we pass, all those elements get passed to the check element function, and these elements are sent to check element. One by one, these elements are checked. If the element is null, if it's nothing there, then we just return. We do nothing, do nothing. There's nothing there. But if it's not null, then it means it's something. We're going to check that something, and we're looking if that something is terrain. Yeah, we die. But right now we're saying if it is obstacle, and that's not working for us. But what is our choice? Our choice is enemy ship, and I'll set it to that, is enemy ship. And now let's bring this back out, hit the old run button, and now let's see, can I get away with running into him? Nope, I died. Let's try again. Let's hit a different enemy. That one didn't work either. Let me hit the last enemy. Let me try to be slick too. There we go. Yep, still colliding. So double check, make sure your collisions work. And that's all there is to enemy UFOs, making the UFOs move. So we'll see you in class, and we'll be doing the next phase. Thank you.